Hello, algebra students. Mr. Lawrence here, and today we are going to get a little more practice with writing a linear equation when given 2 points. And remember, we're going to write it in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. But before we actually get to it, I want to ask you a question. Do you know how to solve an equation like this? You should. And I want to know if you know why you can solve it. Well, I'll tell you, because I can't hear your response right now. The reason that you can solve this for x is that there's only one variable, just the x. There's only one variable, so we can solve for it. Why am I telling you this? Well, let me point out to you that you could not solve this equation. You could graph it, you could find the slope, you could find the y-intercept. Remember, the graph is the infinite set of points that make this equation true. So this blue equation has an infinite number of solutions. Y depends on whatever x is, right? If x is 2, then y is -1. If x is 0, y is -5. But I could do that all day long. I could fill in x values all day long and get out different y values. So you can't actually solve for x or y in this one because there's two variables, right? Okay. Well, we're going to take this idea that if I could make this equation, this blue one, only have one variable, in other words, substitute a value in for x, then I could figure out what y was. And you've been doing that, when we were making our t-tables, right? Well, we're going to apply that to this equation, y equals mx plus b. And we're going to use this to find our y-intercept. That's going to be our variable. For that to be the only variable in the equation, we're going to have to fill in some values. We're going to have to plug in whatever our slope is. We're going to have to plug in an x coordinate. And we're going to have to plug in a y coordinate. So keep that in mind as you watch these two sample problems. All right, I want to find the equation of the line that passes through the points 6, 7, and 8, 12. Well, I know I'm going to be working from the equation y equals mx plus b. So I am going to find my slope. I'm going to do 12 minus 7 over 8 minus 6, and it looks like I'm going to get 5 over 2. All right, I'm going to pick one of these points. Now, because I've gotten good at fractions this year, I see my denominators 2. I'm going to make sure that my x-coordinate is a number that 2 will go into evenly, otherwise an even number, because I'm going to multiply this by my x-coordinate. Now in this case it doesn't matter. I will get, either one will be easy. So I'll tell you what, I will pick this first point, and I'll call 6 my x and 7 my y. So I'm going to substitute in. Y is going to be 7. M is 5 over 2, or 5 halves. X is 6 over 1. And then remember, I'm solving for b. Now that I have, I used to have this equation with 4 variables, and with just a little bit of work, I turned it into an equation with 1 variable. Now I can solve for that 1 variable. So I'm still going to have 7 equals, 2 is going to go in there 3 times. 3 times 5 is 15, plus the b. I've got a one-step equation on my hands. I'll subtract 15. I'll get b is equal to -8. And now that I have the slope, where'd my slope go? Right there. And my y-intercept, I can write my equation. And my equation will be y equals 5 over 2x minus 8. All right, so all we're doing is finding the slope, picking one of the points, plugging in the x-coordinate, the y-coordinate, and the slope to solve for b. Once we have our slope and our y-intercept, we can go ahead and write our equation. All right, let's try it one more time. First thing I'm going to do is find the slope. So I'm going to go 11 minus 10 over -8 plus 4. If you're wondering how I got plus 4, it really was -8 minus -4. Two negatives become a positive. So my numerator becomes 1, my denominator becomes -4. I've got a denominator of 4. I make sure my x values, my x coordinates, are multiples of 4. If they're not, I have to deal with uglier problems. But if they are, I can find a simpler one, a simpler way to do it. In this case, they're both multiples of 4. I'll tell you what, I like 10 a lot, so I'll pick this point. Here's my x and there's my y. And so I will take y equals mx plus b. B is going to be the variable that I'm solving for. Y is going to be 10. M is -1/4. X is -4/1. And then I'm solving for B. Alright, so I'll have 10 will equal, those will cancel, negative times negative, +1 plus B. Subtract 1 from both sides, and I'll get 9 equals B. I have my slope, which is here. I have my y-intercept. My equation is y equals -1/4 x plus 9, and there you go. That's simple, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Mr. Lawrence signing off. Good night, everybody.